Hey, welcome back. Thank you again for downloading our content. My name is Jake Wiskerchen, and I really appreciate the engagement on the resilience video. Got emailed a question from somebody who asked to hear about my own personal dealings or experiences with being resilient, and I don't mind sharing that at all. But before I do, I want to tell you why I don't mind sharing it. So in my experience, clinically and personally, I've found that when somebody can be transparent and authentic and consistent, near as they can to the degree that they can, what it invites is the same in other people. It's almost like we get permission to share a little bit of ourselves in the face of somebody who's sharing something of him or herself. It opens a door to be vulnerable, and through that vulnerability we grow together as human beings, because ultimately it lets us understand that we're not alone in our struggles. All right, so I hope that somebody can see this and also realize that they too have great resilience. They may not recognize it yet. They may not be able to put their finger on why or how, but that's okay. The whole point is to look at your life and realize that you have come a long way through a lot of stuff, not all of which was pleasant at all times, and you're here, and that's a good thing, so we should celebrate that. So I have lots and lots of stories to share about my personal life that range from minor to major. At all junctions of my life, I was dealing with stress and strife and struggle. Still today. So this particular story is very relevant because it has to deal with the pandemic and the COVID-19 sickness, and how Zephyr Wellness moved to deal with that. So we thought we were pretty smart in the beginning when the news started breaking and the S was hitting the F, as they say. I don't even know if anybody says that, but I say it. So we decided to get out in front a little bit early, and we said, hey, we got to go to 100% telehealth. And we picked a platform called VC to do that. And that didn't work for us. And nothing against VC. VC is a fine medium through which you can communicate. And it's very secure, it's HIPAA compliant and all that. But at the time, we weren't the only ones switching over to telehealth. The whole country, nay, the world, was switching to telehealth. And now it wasn't just telemental health, it was telemedicine broadly. And what ended up happening was many of the platforms' servers crashed under the demand. They weren't built to handle it, much like many of your state employment systems were not built to handle the influx, and problems occurred. So we spent the weekend leading up to the stay-at-home order, configuring everything, registering all our people with their accounts, telling all our clients, issuing a very public posting about how we were going to go forward with this. And then come Monday morning, when it was all supposed to unfold, nothing worked. And it was a disaster of epic proportions. We had to cancel all appointments for 2 straight days, and we moved to Zoom. We now use the Zoom platform. Zoom's been great. VC is up and running. We're just with Zoom now, and we're comfortable. But that 2-week period there, where I got very angry, and for a guy who does emotional functioning for a living, you would think that I'm not supposed to get angry. Well, that's not true. Anger is a very important emotion because it tells us that we need to motivate to go make change, to alter something in order to not be angry, right? So one of the messages that I learned from the anger of that time was it was useless. What I needed to do was acknowledge the underlying, more vulnerable emotion of disappointment, sadness. I was sad. I was disappointed that what we had planned did not work, and I was also scared for my company and for the 20-odd people that work there whose families depend on Zephyr Wellness for an income. I was embarrassed that somewhere along the shame-guilt continuum that the thing that I had chosen didn't work. So I was wrestling through all this stuff, and once I realized that I had experienced these things before, and I'm still here today, as I mentioned earlier, I knew that I could also push through that particular experience as well. I have been embarrassed, I have been angry, I have been scared, I have been sad, I've been lots of emotions, sometimes all at once. And I made it. I'm here, we're fine, everybody's fine. It was my trust in knowing that I had that history, knowing that I'd already sort of been there and done that, that helped carry me through. Now granted, it wasn't the same circumstance. And we don't want to compare experiences necessarily. What we want to compare is emotions. So we all have the same 10 emotions. I explained that in a different video. And that's how we can know that we can get through the next emotion. So even though the magnitude varies and the experiences vary, the emotion itself is very much the same. Same fear, same sadness, same shame, same guilt, same anger, same contempt, joy, excitement, disgust. And we want to acknowledge those and wrap our arms around them, label them precisely and accurately, claim them, and then go, all right, now that I've identified this thing, how much longer do I want to sit in it? And for me, that answer was, I don't. So I set it aside, had a clear brain, moved into my frontal lobe thinking and reason and logic, and we moved forward. And so my invitation to you, if you're watching this, trying to figure out what sense to make of it, is you have already had those experiences. The fact that you're here watching this video means that you have. You're not dead, you're still here. So that means that you can tolerate other emotional experiences as well. And when those emotional experiences come, not if, when they come, recognize them and say, I've been here before, I'll be back, I'm gonna push through now. Push through it, own it, and then let it go and leave it where it's supposed to be, which is in the past. You will get through this, we will all get through this. This pandemic is not fun at all for anyone. You're not alone, I'm with you. My employees, my family, we're all with you. We're gonna get through it. We've been here before, not experientially, but emotionally in the limbic system. We've been scared, we've been panicked, we've been sad. We will make it through this one too. If you're wondering about my shirt, it was given to me by my nieces, Maddie, Allie, Amelia, Greta. If you ever happen to watch this one's for you. Thanks for listening as always. On behalf of the Zephyr Wellness family and the Noggin Notes team, I wish you all great mental wellness. Take care.